Hey there, Coach Abaxial here with Game Gym Online. Thanks for coming in. Regardless of whether you want to win a Clash tournament with your friends, climb a challenger, or one day go pro, we're here to point you in the right direction. This is the real way to use Rift Herald. Disclaimer first though, this lesson will assume a level of comfort with basic jungling, from clearing to soloing the Rift Herald. The ideas discussed here are a bit more advanced and involved whole map macro decisions. The function of the Rift Herald, or rather the eye of the Herald, is to cause damage to turrets. We want to drop the Rift Herald within striking range of a turret, so it is not intercepted by the enemy team. That means to drop that Herald, we must be able to push a wave. So I just follow this wave in here on top. I'm going to allow my Malphite to push this wave, and then we can do something with the Herald. If I try and skip this step, if I just simply walk up through here and try and drop the Herald, I give the enemy champions a chance to surround me. That's not good. So we're going to push the wave first. In order to push that wave, we either need to be stronger than the enemy champions in the area, so a fair fight. Even if Echo comes in here and counter ganks, I know that we're still going to win that fight based on having more levels or items, something like that. Or we would have a numbers advantage, which can be an idea that has many forms, but for now, let's just imagine that Echo showed up on mid, showed up on bottom. I know he's not going to be top. Therefore, even if Echo is maybe stronger than me, I know that this play is still a 2 versus 1 in Riven, and therefore we can still make it happen. So let's start with that first option. Here, I'm strong. I have my ultimate. I know Malphite has his ultimate. Riven is low health. Clearly she's, she doesn't want to live right now. Okay, that's easy enough to understand. And then afterwards, even though Echo is here on this side of the map, we're still going to drop this Herald, and we're going to get gold. Now, that would have been a decent play. Even if I didn't have Herald, we still would have gotten a kill on Riven. We still would have gotten the wave, all of that. But when we have the Herald, we can, of course, win more. We're going to take more gold by having it hit the turret and take these plays. The second option, though, that skips the fair fight part of this. So when I did that, I didn't know where Echo was. I didn't care if he showed up. Even if he had perfect timing there, Riven would have still died. So let's look at an example of that, of trading. In this game, I'm playing Kindred. I see Diana gank my Orianna in mid, and since I'm not already there for her, she's dead, nothing I can do. So let's see, can I look for a trade? I'm going to start walking towards top here, and Diana is going to make this easy for me. She shows up on mid, decides to go for a turret plate. As well, the minions still see her walking away, walking towards bottom lane. Perfect. So I come here through top. Now, at this particular moment, I choose to show. I didn't think Gragas was going to show up on the wave and allow us to kill him. And I didn't want him to be able to hit the wave with his Q, do some wave clear. I just wanted to push and get the turret down as fast as possible, especially before 14 minutes when the plates go down. So we push. I'm going to drop the Herald. And voila. Gragas cannot stay here. He could have ulted the wave to try and get 1 or 2 more minions, but since there's that cannon minion right there, it wouldn't have changed anything. The turret's still going to go down. So, again, without his jungler there to defend him, Gragas cannot do anything. And first brick is for me. Both Darius and I probably got about 600 gold off this play once you count the minions. Now, I say that this is an ideal example because there's another aspect to this. If we back up for a moment, let's see. I drop this Herald immediately. I drop it immediately because the turret is at 3 plates. If the turret was full health with 5 plates, I would have waited to drop it and instead gotten it down to halfway, gotten it or about 3 plates, and then gone. Why? Because of the armor that the turrets gain. So if we look here on stats, this turret has 95 armor, 95 magic resistance. If I pull out Fog, and I look at a different turret, this one on mid that has 5 plates still, it has 15 armor and 15 magic resistance, so each plate is harder to break than the last. However, the Rift Herald, it deals true damage, and it always deals between somewhere between 1.5 to 2 plates worth of damage. So you want it to be that last hit that kills the turret, or at the very least, you want to use it in the latter half. Obviously, you're not always going to get very perfect timing like this case here. If you didn't know about these plates, you might think, oh, well, if I dropped her Herald earlier, it can auto attack the turret. But the truth is that the Rift Herald is actually pretty slow at its auto attacks, and the damage is pretty negligible overall. The goal here is to take everything on a side of the map as we trade and before we have to reset, before our opponents come to us. So I'm taking this next wave here with Darius together, and then I'm also going to come over here and look at my opponent's Krugs. I don't have all the time in the world. Diana's eventually going to make her way over to the side of the map or something like this. So I want to be as fast as possible. Focusing on the Rift Herald, trying to get in the second half can easily make the difference between whether I get that second wave, whether I get this extra camp or not. Now, to be fair, this is not always possible. In this example, as Hakarim, I am chasing an Olaf that chose to extend and go for a wave that he should not have. He will die for this, as will the Rengar that comes in afterwards, but when it's all done, myself and Vayne do not already have the wave at the turret, it's a fresh wave. Now, in truth, I mess up here, but what I was thinking about was, if we stay and DPS the turret down to half, Olaf and Rengar will be back on the map and chase us down. If I don't get a better opportunity in the future, I can just drop the Herald to get a smaller amount of gold for myself and Vayne. With that said, bot turret was low at just 2 plates. Together with my bot duo, we were collectively strong enough to fight there and break that turret, so I should have just reset immediately. I was concerned for Vayne's mental, which may have blinded me. That is an error. You should jungle to beat the enemy, not spread the love. This particular example is clear-cut. I had enough information to know better, but others won't be. League is an unpredictable game, and you might only get one chance to drop a Herald. If there is doubt, it's okay to take a small win like I did here. Better than nothing, because the enemy team intercepted your Herald. On that note, let's finish with an exercise. By now, you probably know that if we drop the Herald far away from a turret, it will take time to walk up, and it will stop for minion waves that are in the way, although it will ignore enemy champions. If you drop it close to a turret though, then it will ignore that minion wave and simply charge immediately. So how close is close? Well, if we look, we can see some stone areas in the ground here that do roughly correspond with the Herald range for charging. Whoopsies. But if you play on low graphical settings, you might not see that very well, and there's a better way anyways. In Practice Tool, I'm going to turn off minion spawn, and you also notice here I added a bunch of gold, leveled up, made myself nice and strong. What we're going to do here is I'm going to spawn the Rift Herald and kill it immediately. Afterwards, what I do is I walk to any lane here, and I'm just going to drop the Herald outside of the charge range. But I'm going to observe it as it comes up. We're going to see just exactly where it charges, and then I'm going to use Shift N to mark that spot with a target dummy. So I'm going to spawn the Rift Herald one more time. Once again, come up, and I'm going to try to get it in that exact spot. Now, do note that the Herald follows the face of your character. It does not follow your cursor. So once I'm committed toward, my character is looking this way, even if I move my cursor back there, the Herald's still going to spawn in front of my character. So, let's see. Does it move at all? Was I successful? Yes, I was successful. Did not need to move at all. So, it just takes a few minutes to do that for each turret on the map. And like so, you will know perfectly your range at each turret, or, sort of imagine that nice circle around each turret. If you've made it here, you've learned a great deal about the big picture, or macro, in League of Legends. I hope you can see now how important it is to have a complete understanding of the Rift Herald as a jungler. But that's all for now. Today can be the day that you learn to master the real way to use Rift Herald.